If you're feeling overwhelmed, burnt out, or like you're carrying everything, this episode is for you. Here's a tough pill to swallow, but the thing that's keeping your business stuck isn't more time or a bigger team, it's who you believe you are. You've been leading like a scrappy operator, wearing every hat. But to break into that $1 million world, you need to lead like a true builder. And this episode is for you because your identity and not just your systems might be the real limiter to your growth. We're going to unpack how identity drives behavior, behavior drives leadership, and leadership drives growth. You're going to get a simple but powerful formula to shift your identity. And I'm going to give you real practical steps you can take this week to lead more like a high growth CEO. I'm Terrence Colson. This is the Bold Leader Blueprint. Let's get after it. Let's start with why identity matters. Most creators and founders obsess over tactics, delegation, hiring, systems. But here's the thing, none of that matters if your identity is out of alignment with where you're headed. Imagine your business is a race car. And when you built this thing, it was like a go-kart. And you can upgrade the wheels, the suspension, the aerodynamics, all of those things. But if you don't upgrade the engine, you're never going to get to Formula One speeds. Your identity is that engine. It's the lens through which you make every decision: who to hire, what to delegate, how to scale. But the identity you brought to the last level might be too small for where you want to go now. So let's start by looking at the operator versus the leader mindset and identity. The operator identity, which is about to be the old you, thinks like this: I get out there and I hit the streets and I do things myself. I like to take control and have ownership of things because then I know it's getting done the way I need it to get done. I don't have the time to teach because I'm out there bootstrapping this thing and trying to grow. You might even feel safer doing the work than delegating it because this thing is your baby. But that leader identity, the next level you, thinks like this: you build people who build the business. Teaching is how you multiply your time. You hold the vision and not the execution of every task. Your job is to create and trust systems. And some of you might be thinking that's basically the same thing, and that's part of the reason this shift is so hard. The old identity got you here. It rewarded grit, speed, hustle. But now that same identity is limiting you, whether you realize it or not. Your brain is wired for that operator role, and letting go probably feels like a risk. But if you don't shift, you're going to become the limiting factor. Your team is going to start waiting on you more. Your growth is going to stall, and you're going to end up burnt out. I work with leaders all the time who are struggling with this transition. And usually the hesitation comes from they don't want to let go of it because they care about it. But you're not letting go of anything. All you're doing is allowing things to grow while you still have your arms wrapped around it. You just got to widen your grip a little bit. I know when I first started moving into a leadership position myself, I struggled with this. I was the guy that was good at doing all of the things, right? I was the guy who had it locked in and I had mastered my craft. And then I got moved into a leadership position. I had a team and there were some things where the ball was getting dropped. So what did I do? I did what I always do. I went in and I started doing the things that needed to get done. I started hustling. I started grinding. And I quickly realized this is not sustainable. And in this office, we had to track the equivalent of PTO. We had to track people's duty statuses, where they were at and what they were doing. We had to make sure people's pay was correct, right? All this HR related stuff. For those of you that are familiar with the military, it's an S1. But I quickly realized that I couldn't do all of the things because I just couldn't keep up. And there's no way I was ever going to be able to keep up. And so after wrapping my mind around possible solutions and trying to figure out what the heck I was going to do to make sure that the team and the shop was successful, I finally just said, out of a point of frustration, I have to teach them to do the thing on their own and establish some sort of framework for us to operate out of, or we're never going to get caught up. And so that's what I did. I took each section of responsibility and I assigned it to somebody on the team. And I said, this is now your baby. I don't need you to master all of the things. I don't need you to be a jack of all trades. I want you to master this one thing, get good at it. And then later, you're going to teach the rest of the team how to do it. But right now, I need you to do the thing. Then, once everybody had their role and their responsibilities, I made sure I put things in place and we established some SOPs and we established a battle rhythm on how we do business day in and day out. And we started getting better as a team and we started not falling behind on stuff. They got better at their one thing they had to do, and I got better at managing multiple tasks and multiple pieces. Our outputs were better quality, our tracking mechanisms were more accurate. All of these things started coming together. There was a lot of frustration at first. There was a lot of feeling like I was never going to figure it out. But once we started moving in the right direction, it was like the momentum just naturally picked up. And as I looked back, as I was leaving the position, I tried to look at what worked and what didn't. And what I realized is setting up these systems and shifting my identity from leader to operator is what really helped the team be successful and empowered the other people on the team to do their job and be set for success. And once we started building momentum, it was like it built on itself and it compounded naturally. That's where we want to get you to. And so in order to do that, what we're going to do is introduce a 3-phase framework. It's 3 A's, triple A, if you will. Awareness, alignment, and action. So first, awareness. You want to ask yourself, what identity am I operating from? I want you to think of this as a scale. There's operator and then there's leader, 1 to 10. You might not be a 1, but you also might not be a 10. Figure out where you're on that scale and then pinpoint it. Next, I want you to think about where you're still doing operator work specifically, where you should be leading. I want you to write those things down. That way you can capture those and you can tackle those specifically as you move forward. And then lastly, I want you to use a simple self-audit. I want you to pick 3 or 4 behaviors that clearly belong to your operator identity. Maybe it's a little bit of micromanaging. Maybe it's redoing or having to have oversight on tasks. Maybe it's not delegating as well as you want to. But I want you to write them down so that when we move through the rest of the phases, you've got specific things to focus on and you're not just walking blindly. What we're going to do here is write this statement down. I lead like someone who builds people who do the tasks that I used to do. Now, this might seem cliche or cringy or whatever, but this isn't just some voodoo magic thing. This gets back to performance psychology. Athletes have done this for decades now, and they've used this type of a tool to win world championships. So don't take it lightly. So I want you to write that statement down. Then I want you to practice visualizing that version of your daily self. Once you've got it written down, you can either keep it somewhere or you can memorize it, but I want you to practice visualizing that version of yourself daily. It only takes 15 seconds or a minute. Close your eyes, say it to yourself, visualize what that looks like for you and your business and your team, and then start your day. And then I want you to reframe your responsibilities. I want you to specify and write down your job equals X standards, X direction, and X mentorship. And you can get as into the weeds as you want, but really what we're trying to do is hit those 3 pillars so you're focusing on those and you don't get stuck in that operator trap doing all of the tasks. Step 3 is action. So you're going to choose one leadership habit to implement. Maybe it's delegation, maybe it's teaching, maybe it's empowering. You're going to take small daily steps toward that habit. And then at the end of every week, you're going to reflect on the things that you did to get towards that goal. And you're going to plan some areas where you really want to focus on doing that next week. And this will start to build that momentum that just compounds, right? So an example habit might be every day I'm going to teach someone something instead of doing the work myself. And this doesn't have to be some grandiose thing. It can be the smallest task or the smallest process. For example, When you make a sales call or you send an email to try to get a task done, what are the frameworks or the standard things that you find yourself doing every time you execute that task? Write that down, find somebody that you're going to delegate that task to that makes sense, and then teach them how to do that. It doesn't take that much time, and that will compound as you do that over and over and over again, day in and day out. So now you got your formula to start to initiate this shift. But what actually shifts when you realign? I promise you, when your identity shifts, your team is going to step up because they feel more trusted. Mistakes are going to stop bouncing back to you because you've taught people how to make decisions and how to make corrections for those things and be more autonomous while still playing in bounds. You're going to get time to think, to plan, to actually scale and do the things that only you can do because you're not doing or directly overseeing every single little task. Your revenue is going to become less about you doing the thing, and it's going to be more about what systems and people you have built up. I want you to think of this like a software update. When an app or a program gets a major update, you don't just get new features that operate independent of each other and don't really work well together. That wouldn't be helpful. What happens is those additional features come together to unlock capability and capacity. And that's what you want. Now, here are some practical practices that you can do daily and weekly to make sure that that shift continues to go in the right direction. 1, visualize your next level self. Just take that 1 minute, like we talked about earlier, and really visualize what that looks like in your office, on the floor, dealing with your people in the systems and the processes and the tasks that you specifically have going on. Then I want you to pick one behavior to lead from that identity today. Then I want you to end each day with the question of, who did I lead like? That spectrum we talked about earlier, did I move the needle closer to that new identity, or did I leave it in the spot, or even maybe move it closer to that old identity that you're trying to get away from? And then you use that as a pulse check to slowly move the needle in the right direction. And you'll find that it's really not that slow if you take this stuff serious and you really implement these things. And then weekly, I want you to do a check-in with yourself. This doesn't take very long, and it's going to be super helpful. I want you to think about and ideally journal what operator habits showed up. How did you teach instead of taking over? What did you delegate well? What decisions did you hand off? What or who did you empower that week? What I don't want you to do is talk about what you did wrong or what you failed at. Just write down the things that helped move the needle. And if that list is short, it's okay. Make your goal to have a little bit longer list next week. And then you'll find that either the list gets longer or the impact of the things on those lists get bigger as you start to go through this shift and move into that new identity. One tool you can use to help with your mindset is to come up with like a bumper sticker or a mantra. And what that does is it anchors this whole process in your brain and makes it easy to recall, right? And so your mantra or your bumper sticker might be, I'm not the doer anymore. I'm the builder of doers. I don't execute anymore. I lead the people who do. I don't accomplish every task. I enable my team to thrive. Or it could be whatever you want it to be. And then what I want you to do is recall that, especially when things kind of get chaotic. When you feel that pressure or you feel like you have to go back into that operator mindset in order to like get things under control, center yourself with that bumper sticker that you came up with. So in closing, it's as simple as this. If your business is stuck, your identity just might be too small and you're ready to level up. I want you to remember, you're not just building a business. You're not just building a team. You're not just building an organization. You are building a version of you. Who you become matters more than how hard you grind. Your next level requires a new identity as a leader. To help make that shift, I want to give you my Triple C framework. Click the link in the description to have it sent straight to your inbox. And when you do, I'll send you the Leader Alignment Toolkit as a bonus because you deserve it. And if you want a structured reset to transform how you lead your team, grab the 4-week leader reset. The link's going to be down there as well. This is the fastest way to step out of that operator role and into scalable leadership. So take advantage of it. Your next level leadership starts with identity. So let's build it together. In the meantime, like, subscribe, sign up for notifications, tell somebody about the podcast, tell somebody about this episode. Keep grinding, keep growing, and keep leading boldly. Thanks.